Hey guys! Recently I moved to South Korea and now I have to stay in quarantine for 14 days. So meanwhile I thought I could share with you my 10 impressions in the first 24 hours in South Korea. Let's go! Number 1. So when you're going from the airport by car, for example, on the highway to any other city, then you see a lot of apartment complexes. I went from the airport to the city called Daejeon. It's in the middle of South Korea, and while we were passing the highway, the only thing I saw outside were just a huge amount of apartment complexes. You didn't see any cities or anything like that. It were just mountains and apartments everywhere. Some of them were 20, 30, 40 floors high, and you were just seeing like huge amount of them, nothing else. Number 2. So while we were driving over the highway from the airport, normally you would see, of course, if the weather is nice, blue sky and the sea, but the air pollution was so high that you could just see like a fog. And you could see the sun through the fog, but you couldn't see the sky or the sea. Like there was nothing. You could just see this fog where the bridge ends and that's it. So it was like there is nothing else outside the bridge, which was quite shocking because you hear a lot about the air pollution in this area, but you never really think about it like really realistically. But when you're here, you really can see it and partly I think also smell it, of course. So that was waking me up maybe. So driving to Daejeon takes like 2 or 3 hours, and of course I was at some point a bit hungry because also the food in the plane was not the best, so I hope for some food that would be common for me, for my stomach. I had a quite typical highway snack, as it seems in Korea, and it were just fried potatoes with salt, but also with sugar. I never tried this one, and I actually didn't really taste the sugar that much, but it was just like normal fried potatoes with salt most. So that was quite interesting. I thought potatoes would be less of a basic food, but seems that you can still have them. So I booked an apartment from Airbnb for my quarantine, and of course there are several things in the apartment which I'm not used to from Germany, and my number 4 is the shower. So you don't have any shower cubicle in the bathroom in small apartments in Korea. So basically you don't have anything that can protect your surroundings, like the toilet or mirror or anything else. You're just showering directly in the bathroom and everything can get wet, but there is a small drain in the floor, so all the water goes inside the drain. And I also think that's very practical actually, but also a bit annoying that the whole room can get wet. Well, I think there are advantages and disadvantages in this kind of system. Number 5 are the windows. So I know from old traditional houses in, I guess, few Asian countries have that you can slide the window, but I didn't expect that even modern windows here would open by sliding too. So in the apartment where I'm staying, the windows, there are like 2 or 3 windows in a row. You can just slide them. So the first one is with a milk glass, so no one can look inside, but still the light can come inside. The second one is like a normal window, and the third one is with a net. So it's just a net, so I guess in the summer no insects can get inside. I think that's a nice idea, or a nice way of mixing up the traditional style and the modern style of windows, and for me it works pretty well. Number 6 is my personal new love. It's the floor heating. Of course, I knew that in Korea you have floor heating, and I saw a lot of people sitting on the floor or lying on the floor while watching TV or something like that, but I couldn't really feel why it's that way. But since I'm here now and experience the floor heating by myself, I can fully understand why the Koreans are doing it like that. It is so warm and you can relax your body, and I mean, especially in winter, it's very nice. And from the long flight, my body was aching and I was just lying here on the floor, and it was very warm and my body was just relaxing from that heat, and it was so nice. And even for the bed, I mean, many Korean households still have just the mattress laying on the floor. And if you turn on the heating, the floor heating, then the whole bed gets warm. So it's super nice if you like really warm sleeping, warm beds, or in general like this very warm atmosphere at home. So like the next point is something that comes, I think, from the floor heating is the air is very, very dry because of that in the apartment. So I partly wake up in the morning with a quite dry throat. And no, it's not because of corona. I was tested. It was negative. So just like the nose and the mouth are quite dry or get during the day from time to time very dry, so I'm trying to drink more than before. And then it's fine, or just turning down the heating from time to time. Well, in general, I can understand that there might occur some problems with breathing because it's just too dry, or with your skin, that the skin is getting dry, so you have to moisturize your skin much more than usual. One more thing I can tell about the apartments is the door. So in Korea you don't have any keys, you are just going by a combination lock. So you have the lock on the door and you just put your numbers in there and the door just opens. Very easy. It was very strange for me to go outside when I went for the COVID test just without any keys at all. So just closing the door and you really don't have to think about any keys or that you forget the keys or anything else. Very strange feeling. And I think it's probably very, very difficult to get back to the keys after being in Korea. But it's very convenient. So as long as you don't forget your combination of numbers, you're fine. You can always get back home. I went to take a corona test on the next day after arrival and I took the taxi. And if you call the taxi by the app, it takes only 2 to 3 minutes until the taxi arrives. So in Germany it takes mostly maybe 10 or 20 minutes or something like that, but here it was really immediately. I was pretty impressed by that. You can just call it by the app. You don't have to wait on the street. I also had the experience in the past just standing on the street and waiting for a taxi, and many taxis just passed me and my friends at that time. I guess because we were foreigners and they didn't know that one of us could speak Korean, so they just passed by. But I think in the app you can just put also the address of your target and then you just go there and pay also through your phone, and then you don't have any problems. The last thing on my list is food, and especially its package. I got a nice food package from the public office here in Korea, and of course some things were packed in plastic, but what mostly impressed me was this. So you have one single apple packed in plastic, and I guess in the time of Corona it's pretty convenient because you don't touch something someone else touched, but in general I think that makes just too much plastic garbage, and maybe there should be other ways to sell the fruits or the food. I don't think that's an ideal option or solution for this kind of thing, but during COVID I think that's actually quite okay. Well, what were your first impressions in Korea, or were you surprised by mine, or maybe you have a different opinion? Tell me in the comments, like the video, and if you want to see more of my journey in Korea, then please subscribe and don't miss the next videos. Bye!